demolition. And eventually, if nothing is done to the building, that's exactly what's going to happen. So we're very fortunate that the Landmark Society of Western New York, which is an 80-year-old institution, visited us a few months ago. And the society's focus is preserving architectural heritage and to promote preservation. Mm-hmm. And they have a program called 5 to Revive. And they are actually announcing this afternoon a category in their 5 to Revive that is the adaptive reuse of historic buildings of worship. Mm-hmm. And they review each of these properties, and they get hundreds of submissions.
Of course.
And Trinity Episcopal Church has been selected as one of the 5 to Revive, which is a significant statement that they have viewed the building, they have viewed what our proposal is, they know the neighborhood, and they have selected us as one of their priority projects to save.
And that really is a great honor because of the work and the success that has been attached to the Landmark Society over the last 4 to 5 years. They have seen some serious inroads made in a lot of communities where there has been a little bit of a divisive conversation or debate about the future of some of these historic structures. I want to shift focus a little bit to the greater context. I'm sure this is not the only place where a project like this is being undertaken. Yeah. What are some of the success stories that you have, brought to city officials, neighbors, et cetera, to, ease some of the concerns and also highlight how much of a positive impact this can be?
This is a firstly, I think the city and the general population of Geneva have been very supportive.
All on board.
Yeah. I gave a talk to the Rotary Club about 3 months ago to about 40 people, and to a person, save and except one, they, after the presentation and the question and answer period, to a person, they came up and said how supportive they were. 2 people actually came up and said, before your presentation, we were against your project. And now that we understand what you're doing, and as Murray hinted, there's a lot of misinformation going around.
Right.
And when you really look at the project and look at how unobtrusive it is to the neighborhood, both persons said, we absolutely approve of what you're doing and wish me the best of luck. But you get places like historic, there are countless examples of churches being turned into various adaptive reuses. Mm-hmm. However, it's not very common for the congregation to remain as worshipers in the adaptive reuse. Matter of fact, I only know of one. I'm currently doing an adaptive reuse of a church in Buffalo, where we're converting it into 12 residential units. And the historic tax credits, it's an unusual situation with respect to churches in that if you enclose or subdivide the sanctuary, you're disqualified from historic tax credits. Mm-hmm. So you've got to have the sanctuary remain as an open space. But, you get places like Charleston, South Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, where I have been to in multiple occasions where you have retail shops, you have restaurants, you have inns, you have single-family residential, all side by each, and that's part of the attraction, quite frankly. When you get into, and Trinity Church is uniquely located, in as much as it's a 5-minute walk to Hobart William Smith Colleges, and it's a 5-minute walk to downtown. Mm-hmm. Somebody could conceivably park their car and walk everywhere they need to go. And that's a very unique experience that I don't believe anyone else in Geneva has. Certainly there's lots of very good hotel rooms in Geneva, but there aren't any that is in the church's unique location. But there, you go to places like Pittsburgh. I've walked through 3 church conversions there. But unfortunately, there are 6,000 to 10,000 churches closing every year in the United States. The majority of them don't get to have adaptive reuse, and the majority are left to fall apart and are subsequently demolished.